Okay, we start off today with the story that the cast and crew members of Jade Osibero's movie, The Trade, graced the red carpet for his exclusively premiered film in Lagos, Southwest Nigeria, 5 years after the movie was shot. Details in this opening feature. Do enjoy.
In the early hours of this morning, the latest victim of a vicious kidnapper, whose identity we're yet to uncover, escaped from the house where she had been held hostage for the past 6 weeks.
So, what do we know?
Absolutely nothing.
To Trade, a crime thriller based on a true-life story of a kidnapped kingpin, finally makes its debut in cinemas 5 years after it was delayed in post-production.
Who you be? Anything.
We don't know where he lives, if he's married, if he has kids.
You're my biggest inspiration on the force, sir. I just want to learn. I want to learn from the best, sir.
These ruthless kidnappers have terrorized Lagos for the past few years.
No trial.
Some of the movie cast and crew members are joined by friends and movie enthusiasts for the premiere in Lagos, Southwest Nigeria.
I think there's something we're missing because no one can be that careful.
We have some questions in relation to an ongoing investigation.
What's it be that?
This morning, I announced a reward of 35 million naira to anyone who comes forward with information that leads to the capture of these criminals.
Crime never goes unpunished. I believe, no matter how many years it takes, I believe in karma. You know, karma will always come visiting. Another thing that we should take away is the fact that, you see, for me, it's important that we start telling such, stories about things that are happening in our society. To create that awareness. And the best way to do it is through media, television, such a powerful tool to begin to tell the stories of what's happening in the country and, how to go about tackling these issues in the country. So that was one of the reasons I came on board to be a part of this, film. When I first read the script, I found it so intriguing. I didn't drop it from start to finish. And for me, before I decide to be part of a production, I like to connect with the story and the character deeply, which I did.
So casting is a very delicate thing. If you focus on A-listers, funny thing is some of them when we shot weren't A-listers. You get what I'm saying? So, between then when we shot and now, they have grown. But then that's just testament to say that when we saw them, they were good at what they were doing. So we're proud that they are A-listers now. It wasn't really about A-listers. It was more about people who could deliver, take on those characters, and play it out properly. Post-production took a while. To be honest, the film has been ready for over a year now, but we also wanted to do it right when it comes to distribution. And so we just had conversations with a lot of people and decided that, okay, this was the time to bring it out. And I feel like regardless of how long it is, it's a very strong story. There's still a lot of mystery surrounding the subject, and I think that people will really, it's an eye-opener, and I think that audiences will enjoy it regardless.
Now, God, I will fuck you off. You don't let it in. Kill him, man. Calm down. Stop telling me to calm down.
All officers in Unit 2B as alert. The chairman is in the area. I repeat, the chairman is in the area.
Directed by award-winning filmmaker Jade Osiberu, To Trade tells the story of a notoriously cunning kidnapper who ravaged the southern part of Nigeria for over a decade.
I play Meshach. Meshach happens to be one of the gang members, one of the leader's boys, and he's young and he's gotten into crime. They brought him from the village actually, and he's gotten into crime at such a young age. But he's brutal. But you know how people in crime still have a heart somewhere, and so he still has a heart. This film was made over 2018. That's yes. So I get questions like, how come I look so young? I transformed. It was a while ago. That was practically my first big film. So experience was wonderful. Rita, Dominic is warm. I mean, there was a scene where I had to manhandle her, and you know how you feel like, Rita. She didn't make me feel like an newcomer at all at the time. So yeah, Jade Osiberu is an amazing director. She brought out every the juice in all the actors that are on it, and I'm grateful to have been on it.
I played a police officer, part of the team, after the bad guys, you know what I mean, I'm just trying not to give too much away, but yeah, so you get to see ASP Charlton doing his thing, as usual. It was interesting. It was the first time I was playing police officer, and so they teach you how to prime a gun, and teach you how to handle live ammunition. So we had, instructors on the project, which was really good. And so that was quite thrilling for me. I've always loved, working with dangerous weapons, you know what I mean? So I love that part.
In the lead role is Blossom Chukwujeku, who played a kidnapped kingpin.
It's very important to be telling stories like this because the trade is actually centered around current issues, what is presently happening on ground in Nigeria. People get to learn a lot of lessons in it. You get to know that doing what the villains did in the movie isn't a good thing because the law will catch up with you. That's one. Secondly, you get to understand some of the plots and ploy these criminals use to nab someone. So I think there's a lot to learn from the movie The Trade.
It's important to tell crime stories because I already know how shitty the narrative of stories is in Nigeria today. Police incidents, bloggers incidents, not actually having the accurate narrative of stories, misleading the public. So you have to actually know how to portray the stories, and movies like this will educate you more on how to play the narrative.
Other cast of the film include Chiwetalo Agụ, Mercy Aigbe, music star Waje, and Denola Gray, amongst others.
So, what do we know?
Absolutely nothing.
We know a lot about how he carries out his operations, but absolutely nothing about the man.
Who be that?
Who you be? Dominic.
We don't know where he lives, if he's married, if he has kids.
You're my biggest inspiration on the force. I just want to learn. I want to learn from the best.
These ruthless kidnappers have terrorized Lagos for the past few years.